Hello, Kim Kesti here, Design Concept Manager at Fun Stamper's Journey, and I'm super excited to share another product spotlight with you. And today, yes, the day we've been waiting for, I'm going to feature Pan Pastels. So super excited to share just your basic 101s in this video about Pan Pastels. So first of all, we have the packaging and how it arrives at your doorstep. So it comes beautifully packaged with a little extra layer of foam. I'm just going to open this guy right up and show you what it looks like. So our Pan Pastels are available in 4 different color families. This happens to be the Rich Sorbets color family. So you can see that it comes in its own tray with 7 pans of pastel. And not to mention this adorable label, which I just have to point out, super cutie patootie, matches our washi tape. Did you guys know that? Our washi tape has the same exact print as all 4 of our color families. I think that's so much fun. So just a little aside, it doesn't really have anything to do with Pan Pastels, except it's so cute. Okay, put that away. Get down to business, Kim. Okay, so our Pan Pastels come packaged like this, and you'll notice if I can get sort of a view on the camera. Let's go this way, yeah. So you'll see the pans in there, but at the bottom, I'm not gonna open this package, but you get a whole set of soft tools. Can you guys sort of see in there? So I'm gonna show you those a little bit more, but the soft tools do come included, so I just wanted to point that out. So super fun. So let me set this brand new one aside. And then I'm gonna grab one that I already have open here. This particular palette now is Mother Nature. So again, like I said, the 4 color palettes come in all of our 4 families. So Confectionery Days, Mother Nature, Rich Sorbets, and Party Pop, which by the way is one of my favorites. So they all coordinate perfectly with the colors we already have. These are palettes that Richard has exclusively picked to match our colors. Not every single color is an exclusive color formulated for Fun Stamper's Journey, but several of them are. But Richard has gone through and picked the ones that match our color family, so that's pretty cool. So back to Mother Nature. Besides the 7 that come in the kit, each of these has a new color. We have 4 brand new colors that came out recently in our 2017-2018 catalog, and each one is going to match a color family. So for example, Mother Nature has a new little family member, and that's Hazelnut Blend. So I love that there's a couple empty spots in your palette where you can just add your new colors, or if you want to rearrange your colors, of course, that's up to you. But that little guy fits right in there. Now, you will notice that when the tray, did you see me open the tray? Comes just like this, packed beautifully. Each of the palettes is here, but only 1 lid is included. That really is for a fun reason. The lid comes off quite easily, but you will use the lid to remove the palette from your tray, or the pan from your tray. So see how I can kind of grab this, and it's pretty stiff. I can get it out, but a much easier way to get your pan out of the palette is to put a couple twists on the lid and then just pop it right out. So do you see that? It's super fun. And one other fun thing is that each pan stacks. So I can take these out if I have a storage issue. Maybe I want to store them on a shelf or something in my room. All of them stack together. And then of course the lid goes on top. So that's why you only need 1 lid for the palette. Does that make sense? Yes. So I'll put these little guys back in here. And we are ready to play. So, I just want to tell you a little bit about Pan Pastels. They are chalk pastels. They're specially formulated, so they have some extra fun ingredients in them that make them super creamy, super fun. So let me just grab a plain piece of whipped cream cardstock, and I'm just going to grab a color. Let's grab something that's really going to show up. I'll grab one of the cranberry colors. So you'll see that you don't need to load a lot on your sponge. I wiped it about 3 times, if you guys saw me do that, across the pan. And this is just going to give you so much color. Look how just the 1 swipe just goes right on that cardstock. So pretty. I can pick up more and layer the pastel. Just add more color, darker and darker and darker, as dark as I want to go, basically. And it just grabs that cardstock really beautifully. Now these pastels can be used on our smooth cardstock, which is amazing, or you can go something thinner like vellum, and this will not bleed through. So if I stroke this right across vellum, it's a very dry product. It's not going to bleed, it's not going to buckle your paper. Nothing. Just goes on beautifully. So you can see how I just add it. So pretty. And it will also go on paper that's thicker or has more tooth. Something really toothy like our splash, color splash sheets. They'll go on just beautifully too. So fun. Now one other thing that's really fun about this, you know what, I'm going to switch to a different color. I'm just going to get started on a little bit of a project and just show you a few more tips as we go along. So let's grab these fun colors. These are some. Did I just tell you that Party Pop was one of my favorites? A few of these colors are from the Party Pop palette. And I'm just going to grab another piece of whipped cream and layer on these colors. I just want to show you a little bit of how they blend. So let's grab some of the beautiful lemon drop. I'm going to start that at the top. Look how that goes on. It's so pretty. Just a little bit of color. It's just gorgeous. I'm going to go about halfway down my cardstock with the lemon drop. Now I'm going to just switch my sponge. The soft tools are amazing. They're specially formulated to go with the Pan Pastels. In fact, let me just give you a peek at the packaging. If you want to order extra tools besides what comes in your palette, you can order extra soft tools. Now again, this is a special micro pour sponge. It is not a makeup sponge. It's specially formulated to work with these pastels. So you don't really want to use other kind of tools with them. They work really pretty with these. So there's the one that's shaped like a little finger, so it mimics your finger when you're adding the pastel. Then there's these little tiny cute ones, which I call slippers. Probably not the official name, but it goes on the end of this palette knife. And that's for really nice detail work. Because I tend to really love big and bold projects, I really like the wedge. And again, I'm using two sides of it, so I can use two colors. You can wash the sponges. You can wash them with soap and water, really mild soap and water. Or between uses, you can just grab a piece of paper towel. So if I wanted to clean the sponge off, I would just go across the paper towel, clean that sponge off, and then I can go to another color. So I'll show you where I'm going from the lemon drop straight to the citrus cooler. And you can see that it's not going to contaminate one pan over the other. You can go from pan to pan, and if you do get a little bit of, say, this really bright candy apple on your lemon drop, you just take a little piece of paper towel and it comes right off. So again, I'm going to come in with citrus cooler and just add some of that. If you find that you're getting a little bit extra dust on your palette when you're picking it up, probably means you're just grabbing too much product. You really don't need a ton to get this beautiful, beautiful color. And it is quite low dust. So very nice. I'm going to wipe a little bit of that off. And then I am going to switch sponges because I already have one that I started with the candy apple. And I'm going to show you how you just bring it in right here at the bottom. And I think the candy apple is really going to show you the blending. Let me flip it around here. So there's your candy apple. I'm going to kind of come up to my citrus cooler here. But then I'm going to come back with my citrus cooler sponge and just go over that seam. Look how pretty, you guys. It just blends so beautifully. And come back with a little more red, make sure that corner's covered. Again, the citrus cooler just blends those two together. There's really no other product that's going to be so easy like that to blend. I can even come with my yellow and blend a little bit more up here. So pretty. There's one trick that I want to show you that I tend to do. Again, very little dust. If I tapped this off, you're really not going to see much falling at all. People often ask if you have to seal the Pan Pastel, and you don't really have to. It kind of sets on its own after just a few minutes. But I like to keep a clean sponge handy on my work surface, and sometimes I'll just go through and just kind of wipe the top of this guy. And then if there is a little bit of dust, which there was a tiny bit, it just kind of cleans up my work surface. So just one extra little tip for you there. Now, what can you do with this guy? The Pan Pastels are compatible with any of our other products. It's so fun. So once you start with your palette, you can add watercolor on top. You can add any of our True Color Fusion inks, of course. They just go stamp on here beautifully, which is what I'm going to show you in a minute. You can use any of our coloring systems, our True Color Fusion reinkers. You can use them on our splashes, our silks. Anything that you want, you can layer on top of the pan pastel. So don't be afraid to, go after that surface with any of your other medias. I love that idea. So let me just show you the real basic stamping. So let's grab black licorice because I think it's going to really show you the vivid look. And this is our fun little picture perfect stamp. Just watch how beautifully, again, didn't seal it, didn't do anything. Just bring your stamp right in. And oh my gosh, right? So beautiful. Let's do one more. So I happen to be using black licorice because I love the contrast, but you can use any of our True Color Fusion inks and just come right in and stamp right on top of that palette. Do you guys want to see a project I made? I'll give you a few more tips, but I want to show you the finished product. And here it is. So we've just taken that beautiful gradient background, stamped all my cameras on top, and then added a little sentiment, so fun, from the new must-have sentiments. And then if you can see, yeah, I guess the camera's picking it up a little bit. I just did a really light spray of the gold shimmer splash just on the corner. I guess it doesn't twinkle too much on the camera, but it is really pretty in real life. So super simple card, just a pan pastel background, stamped on top, added the sentiment, tiny bit of washi tape, and just love it. So much fun. Okay, so what else you need to know about pan pastels? We talked about the care, we talked about how they coordinate with our other things. Let me show you a couple of our other specialty pans. I'm gonna put this down just so my smudgy palette's not here. Just real quick. Besides all of the color families I talked about, we also offer the pan pastel in a gorgeous shimmer silver. Love that. A really pretty shimmer gold. And a colorless blender. You notice that the pan pastels blended really nice on their own, but sometimes if you've got colors that are a little less cohesive, like I went from yellow to orange to red, and those are pretty blendable. If you're going with more contrasting colors, the colorless blender is an amazing way to blend. And I'll for sure show that in another video all by itself. Just all the things you can do with the colorless blender. But for this one, I think we're just sticking with the basic 101s. Okay, so one more thing I do want to show. I'll just grab this camera back. People ask, fun features about it is, can you erase it? And yes, I just have a regular artist eraser here. I just picked up from the craft store. And the pan pastel is amazing because you can come back, say I wanted the camera not to have as much color. I can just come back with an eraser and you are kidding me, right? You can take away the pan pastel. If you happen to get a spot somewhere that you don't like, you can just come in with the eraser and just pick up that color beautifully. I mean, that is basically right back to white cardstock. So what a fun idea if you do flowers or any image where you want to just have a little bit of a highlight. Your basic white eraser will pick that right up. Okay, so I think we've covered most of the basics of the pan pastels. I've talked about the color families, how they get to you. One more thing on the storage of them. I did show you the palette, and I'm going to bring it back in real quick. The best way to store the pan pastels is to keep them in their palettes. Number one, it keeps your color families together, which is a great thing. And people ask, well, when you travel, can you stack them? You can, certainly, but the palettes were designed to just keep them in there and travel with them. So if you want to travel, take them to shows, take them on vacation, say you're going to a retreat or something like that, keep them in their palette. It's the best way for them to travel. Now, if one does get cracked, I think I have a cracked one somewhere in my studio, but it absolutely does not affect the performance. So say one of them gets bumped on your counter and it gets a little crack in it, or even cracks all the way across. I just wanted to make a note that the pastel is not damaged at all and you can still 100% use it just fine. So don't stress. But if you are traveling, keep them in their palettes. It's the safest way to go. So again, I think we've covered the basics of pan pastels. I'll certainly be excited to do some other product spotlights and show you more fun tips and techniques. But I think that's going to wrap it up for now. But I know that if you have questions or you want any other inspiration, or if you want to find a coach to answer questions for you, you'll want to visit us on the website at www.funstampersjourney.com. panpastelscraft.com. See you there.